Hey everyone, it's Rhonda. Welcome back to my channel. Thanks again for joining me for another Journal with Me video. I've got a little bit of time today to work in my Disney World junk journal. So that is what I'm going to do today, and I thought I would take you guys along with me. So just a brief catch up. I am working in this little golden book junk journal that I made to document photos from Disney World's 50th anniversary and the Magic Kingdom. So I have some process video on my channel where I worked through the first couple pages of this, and when I left that video off, I had put this photo was the last one that I did, and I had mentioned that I may add a little bit of embellishments. I just wanted to share with you guys that I did do that. So let me bring this up here so you can see it a little bit. So I just added a tab back here, a word phrase. I've got a vellum star on here. I added a tab here at the top just so that it's easily flippable. And then the next page in here was one that I built into my signatures. This is from a brochure that was left in our Disney resort room. So that is on that page. I just left those as it is. And then I had this castle page. I just wanted to add some photos that I took of the castle all decked out for the 50th anniversary. I did end up creating this flip. Now, this page ended up turning out a little bit differently than I had anticipated, because I really wanted to use up some photos. So I just built this flip on here, and literally I just cut my paper and I taped it here, and then it's a flip. So I've got that there. I have this paper clip. This was in my stash. It has been there forever. It's an old Simple Stories, I think from their very first Say Cheese collection, this little clip. So I just put that on there. I love the way that this looks when it's closed. Just got the castle sticking out there. So I like the way that that turned out. All right, so now I'm moving on to this page, and I've got an idea of what I want to do on this page. Now, this is a technique that I used years ago when I did a 12 by 12 page, and I had posted it in a Facebook group and people raved about it. And so I thought it would be kind of fun to do again in this album on a little bit smaller scale and share with you guys how I did it. So the first thing I'm going to do is cut. I actually have this. Let me find what I did with it. I cut a piece of paper to kind of cover up. What did I do? Oh, it's right here. Okay. I cut this piece of paper to cover up a lot of this black and white polka dot because it's not going to go with my photo. So I'm going to cover this up, but the technique that I'm going to use is on this piece of paper. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this whole book aside, and I'm going to focus on just this, using this piece of paper right now. So what I'm going to be using is a stencil, and this is an old, again, another one that I've had in my stash. You can see I've used it quite a few times. This is from Echo Park, and it is the Wish Upon a Star stencil. Now, it is the castle, and then there's some stars. Now, because I've used it so many times and I've done different techniques and stuff with it, some of these little spots, let me pull this out here. Some of these little spots are completely filled and they will not come out. So it doesn't give me the best impression, but I'm getting the castle primarily, which is really what I want. Okay, so I've got this stencil, and what I'm going to use for this, because if you guys will notice, there is a lot of fine detail in this stencil, and it starts to come up and it doesn't lay flat all the time. So I'm going to use some pixie spray, and I just get this off of Amazon. It's a spray adhesive that you can use to hold down your stencils so you don't have to worry about them coming up. So I'm going to put this on the back of this, and I'm just pulling in an old box. This is just an old, I think it came with my Your Creative Studio subscription. So I'm going to turn it over, and I'm just going to spray this. I'm going to spray it good because I really want it to stick. Okay. And then that's going to dry for just a minute. So it just needs to set for just a minute, and then I can go ahead and put it on my piece of paper. Now, what I'm going to be using to create this castle design on this paper is modeling paste. This is my favorite my favorite modeling paste. I get this off of Amazon as well. It's by TCW, and I'm going to just use a spatula. Okay, so we'll get this ready to go while that is drying. And I know just from using this where my areas that tend to not stick down really well are. So I'm going to make sure that those are good and stuck down. And I'm just going to lay this on my piece of paper. Okay. And then we'll push these little pieces down so that they stay put. Okay. This one I'm having an issue with here. But okay. All right, so then it's just a matter of taking my modeling paste and putting on not a terribly thin layer, but not a terribly thick layer either. So I'm just going to lay down some modeling paste on my paper. And I'm just going to kind of smooth this around. And try and get it in all the little nooks and crannies here. And I like the texture paste or the modeling paste because of the texture that it gives when you pull up the stencil. So I'm going to try and get some of these stars and these little dots and that kind of thing that are here. I don't hold out high hope for those because, like I said, I've used them quite a bit. Okay. All right, so let's see what we've got. So then we're just going to lift this off. If I can get underneath there, hold on. Okay, and this is where the magic is. Put that straight off of there. All right, can you guys see that? Can you see the texture that it gives that paper? Oh, I love this look. It creates like a textured paper with very little work. I just love the look of that. And you can see I've got some areas where I've got more modeling paste in there than others, but I love that look. So what I'm going to do is line up my stencil and finish the bottom, but I am going to go wash it off first because it makes it easier for me to see where I've got that. So I'm going to go wash that off and I'll be right back. Okay, so this is cleaned off, and because I washed it, I did put some more of the pixie spray on the back so that it would stick down. And I'm just trying to figure out where I want this to go. And I think this is going to be it. We'll just go ahead and do that little bit here. Okay, same technique. Just slap on the modeling paste. Okay. Pull this off. All right. Now it did smear just a little bit here where my stencil overlapped, but I'm just going to go in and just rough that out, and it just kind of adds to the textured look. It kind of creates it like an embossed look on your paper. I just love it. I just love it. Okay, so that is done. I'm going to clean this up and let that set aside to dry. So that is going to be my background paper that's going to go on that black and white piece of paper. All right, I'm all cleaned up. I'm going to move this over to the side and let that dry. And while that's drying, I'm going to move on to this half of an envelope here that I built into the signature when I made my pages. Now, I think what I want to do with this is, I kind of have an idea. Let me find them. Okay, I've got a few little, what are these, 2 by 3s, I think. Just photos of the castle, just random photos. And I found something in my stash, well, not my stash, in my ephemera that I collected from our trip that I think might work really well with these. And that is these pin backs. So we bought some pins. They were the 50th anniversary pins. And these are the perfect size to fit these photos. So I think what I'm going to do is put these photos on these pin backs and use them. I'm going to create a vellum pocket here, And I'm just gonna tuck these in here and maybe put some ribbon on there. And then maybe kind of find something to cover up this back. So let's go ahead and do that. I'm trying to decide if I want to keep this white or if I want to add, I think I'm going to add some paper. I don't think I want to keep it white. So let's do that. I've got my bag of scraps here. Let me see. Something that I haven't used already because I feel like I've used the same scraps throughout this. So let's see. I could use a yellow. Even though I used it already, I could use this yellow. I've got a pretty big scrap. And then these could tuck in there maybe. Okay, let's do it. Let's just do it. All right, so I'm just gonna cut this down to cover this envelope. All right, so that's all trimmed down. Let me just make sure it's gonna fit. And it should. I'm going to trim a little bit off of this side. I like the white border a little bit on there, so I'm going to trim this down just a little bit more. And let's see how that looks. Okay, so I'm going to ink the edges of this. And again, my favorite Distress ink by Tim Holtz is the walnut stain. I use it 98% of the time. If I'm not using it, I'm using the black, or I'm using, you know, a similar color, something that kind of goes with what I'm working on. But for the most part, I use this walnut stain. All right, so that's good. I'm going to create this vellum pocket. And do I want it to be this tall? Let's see. And of course I lost my photos already. Oh, y'all, the struggle is real. The struggle is real. Okay. I think I'm going to trim that down too. It's a little bit taller than I want. All right, so that should be good. And then I can tuck those in there. All right. We're just gonna trim this off here. I always feel like I'm so discombobulated when I'm working on scrapbooking. I just make a mess everywhere and then I can't find anything and it's a mess. It's a mess. All right, that looks good. I don't love to use adhesive on the back of vellum, but it is what it is. It tends to show through, but that's all right. Okay. So I've got my pocket ready to be stuck down. Get that even here. Okay. So there's that. And then I just need to stick my photos, and they're a tiny bit longer. So I'm going to trim those up just a little bit. So I'm going to trim off some of this bottom piece. And then, actually width-wise, it's really pretty good. Okay, so I'm going to stick these down. So this is good. These three are done. I think I'm going to pull out some ribbon and attach the ribbon to the tops of those. And I want them to kind of be this way. So I've got the 2 blue in the back and the gold one up front. So I'm going to put those in. I'm going to put ribbon on those. And I'm just trying to think if I want to put something on the front. Now I would prefer not to cover the photos so that you could see what was in here, but I've got a little bit of room at the bottom. So I'm thinking that I have, let me see if I can find I think I have a strip, like a castle strip. Let me look and see if I can find that. Hang on. Okay, the border that I was looking for, the piece of paper is going to be way too big for this. So I pulled out this sticker book. This is from Cartabella, which is Echo Park, Believe in Magic. And there's a yellow border in here that I think I'll just put on here and call that good. Oops, broke that one. All right, let's put this here. Which way do I want it to go? That way or that way? Let's go that way. I'm going to ink the edges here just so it pops a little bit. Since the background is yellow, I want it to just pop out a little bit. All right, I don't need that. Okay. I'm going to put that on there, and I'm just going to trim that excess off. Oh, that's cute little fairy paper. Okay. Ooh, I got that on there crooked. Let's fix that without tearing it. Oy. I'm on the, okay, that's much better. Okay, so I think what I'm going to do is find some ribbon. I'm going to tie the ribbon onto this, and then I'm going to go ahead and stick it down in my book. Now, one thing I do want to do before I do that, pull my book back over here. This envelope, I can leave it like this, and then it's like a page, but I want the inside of this. I want to be able to tuck stuff in there. So before I stick this down, I'm just going to go ahead and trim off the very, very edge of this, so then it becomes a pocket on the inside. Okay, so let's get that trimmed. Okay, perfect. So now you can see I've got a pocket right here, and I can go ahead and tuck something in there, which is what I think I want to do. So I'm just going to, like I said, add the ribbon, stick this down, and then figure out what I want to do, and I will be right back. Okay, so my tags are done. I've added this really pretty ribbon. I totally had forgotten that I had this. I got it at Walmart, I think, and it was on clearance for like 74 cents. And I thought, wow, this will be perfect to go with my 50th anniversary because the colors match a little bit. So I like how those turned out, and I love that they're just sitting in this pocket. I've added this border down here, and then this vellum circle that says remember this magic moment. So that is done. Now I'm going to come back over here. So this texturized paper that I did is completely dry now. So I'm going to just go ahead and add it here. And you can see I've got a little bit of area here where when I put down the stencil the second time, it overlapped and kind of rubbed some of that texture paste that was on there. But that's totally okay because it's actually going to get covered up. So I've chosen to use just this little 3x4 photo, and I want to just put it here, and that's about it. I think I'm going to mount it on some blue paper, and I'm going to add it on here, and I'm just going to leave it the way that it is. I don't want to take anything away from the background on here, and I want it to be a super simple, very simple looking page. So I'm going to go ahead and do that real quick. this page is done. I like the way that looks. Very simple. I know I said I was going to keep it simple and not add anything, but I've had this doodle bug. I think they're called, what are they called? Doodle Pops. It's a cardstock sticker, and I've had it sitting on my desk for a while, and this is kind of the perfect place to use it. So just adds a little something over there. It does bulk out the page just a little bit, but I'm okay with that. So I like the way that turned out. I love this. All right, now, if you'll remember, I cut this off so that I can make a pocket here. And I'm going to add, I think, some journaling in here. So I went ahead and I printed this out. This is from Kelly Bell Designs again, and I downloaded this. It was part of the 50th anniversary package that she has. I downloaded this and I printed it at a 4x6 card. So I think what I'm going to do is put a 4x6 photo on the back, and then I'm just going to add some journaling and pop it in here. It's going to fit perfectly. So that's what I'm going to go ahead and do now. Okay, so this is done. So I'm just going to go ahead and pop this in the pocket here. And there we go. We've got some hidden journaling. This is going to be easy enough to pull out and just read the journaling and see the photo on the back side. All right. Now, I think the last thing I'm going to do today is work on just placing a photo on the back here. Now, one of the things that I've started doing, and I started doing this with a trip that I took to Graceland last year, and I love doing this because when you take a photo, you can't always see all of the detail. And so one thing that I've started doing is after I've taken my photos, I go into my photos on my phone and I zoom in on them. And I zoom in and I pull out the things that I want to see up close. So this probably was a further away. It could have been something like this. And all I've done is just zoomed in on my phone and then I've screenshot that. So now I have, like, look at that. Oh, so pretty. So now I've got this photo that I can just go ahead and add on here. And I think what I might do is maybe find some washi to add here. And then I just pop that photo on there and that's done. Okay, I think this one will work. I don't need a lot of it, to show here, but I just want to add kind of finishing touch to that edge. So this one is actually more of a tape than it is a washi. It's got the sticky back on it, so I'm just going to go ahead and peel that off. I like that it's glittery. I like that it kind of goes with the colors a little bit. So I'm just going to take that off, maybe. Okay. And just add it on here. Okay, that's added there. Needs a little trim. All right, then I'm just going to go ahead and add this photo on here. And you always want to be careful when you're getting towards the inside where your signatures are put together in the book, because if you don't, they're going to bend. So when I go to flip this page, if it's right up here against the seam, it's going to bend that photo a little bit. So make sure you always give yourself just a little bit of room there. Okay, that one is done as well. So I'm thinking maybe I want to add, I was going to do a tab, but I've already got a tab here. I think I might just think on this. That's what I'm thinking. I think I'm just gonna hold off and see if I can figure out what I want to put there. I kind of like having a little tab or something there. So if I do that, I will share that with you guys later. But so for today, this is what we've got. So we've got these 2 pages done, and then I created this background. On this, we've got that textured background, kind of gives it an embossed look. I've done these tags in here in this little vellum pocket on just pin backs from pins that we purchased during our trip. So I've got those added there in that vellum pocket, which again is great because you can see through it and you can see what's in there. And then I've added this little journaling card and photo on the inside. And then I've added this 50 logo on the back with the washi tape. So I feel like that was a pretty good castle section that I got completed. I do have a few more castle photos, but I think I can include them throughout the rest of the 50th anniversary spreads. So that is going to be it for today. I will have another video coming up soon, another journal with me. Please give this video a like. Consider subscribing to my channel if you love this kind of stuff, if you love Disney scrapbooking, if you love scrapbooking in general, if you love junk journaling. Please subscribe, and I will see you guys again next time for another video. Have a great day. Bye-bye.